First, LeBron agreeing to a 2-year, $85 million extension yesterday, keeping him in L.A. for the next 3 seasons. Then this morning, news breaking that AD and the Lakers are close to finalizing a 5-year, $190 million deal. So the Lakers' dream duo now aligned for the next 3 seasons. We are aligned with Chris Broussard still with us. But, Nick, let me start with you. Could LeBron and AD become the greatest duo in NBA history?
Oh, in NBA history. Oh, I didn't know we were going here. All right. Well, let's discuss who they'd be up against, right? Let's just go basically Russell and Cousy, that era, throw that out. So we'll go basically modern NBA history. The best duos are, in not ranking them, Magic and Kareem, obviously. Bird and McHale, but McHale wasn't quite the level you would need to be here in this conversation. Michael and Scottie, Shaq and Kobe, and KD and Steph. Those are who they'd be competing with. KD and Steph won 2 titles together. Shaq and Kobe won 3. Michael and Scottie obviously won 6 together. And Kareem and Magic won 5. Michael and Scottie was never one of the 3 or 4 best players in the league with Michael. He was close, but he wasn't quite there. And Kareem was once upon a time the best player in the league, and Magic was once upon a time the best player in the league. But by the time Magic really became that, Kareem was a top 10, top 12 guy, but was kind of phasing out of it. There have only been 2 instances where you could argue a team had 2 top 3 players for repeated seasons. Shaq and Kobe and KD and Steph. Could they do what Shaq and Kobe did, win 3 rings, get to 4 finals together? Absolutely. Could they do what KD and Steph did, get to 3 finals together, win 2 rings? Well, they will do that. There's no question about it. And so I guess it depends on, if you look at what Magic and Kareem did as the gold standard, winning 5 rings together, even though the last couple rings Kareem was in a far different phase of his career, then the answer is no. But if you're asking, can they duplicate what Shaq and Kobe did or what KD and Steph did? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes, they can. So it depends on what your flavor is, Broussard. But if you're talking about burn the brightest for a relatively, for a half decade, absolutely they could do it. They're 1 for 1 already. We'll see if they get to 2 for 2 and 3 for 3.
A half decade? How long's LeBron going to be the best player in the world? I mean, a half decade, he'll be 41. This is lunacy.
Well, they already got 1 year down. No, that's not right.
If LeBron were about to turn 26 instead of 36, then sure, they'd have a great shot.
Can we get LeBron's real quick, Broussard? Hold on. Just real quick because I want you to make sure you have the age right. He's 35. We already got 1 year down.
Right.
So we're talking about age 36, 37, 38, 39. That's what we're talking about, not 41. We're not getting there, so go ahead. But let's just be fair about the man's age.
That's old.
He's 35 years old, coming off the Finals MVP. Go ahead.
You said it depends on your flavor. Here are the 2 flavors, all right? Most dominant. The most dominant duo ever is undebatable. It was Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. You can say all you want. Scottie Pippen's not a top 20 player of all time, wasn't a top 3 player, and I'll give you all that. But that's how good Jordan was. They won 6 championships, 2 three-peats. There have only been 3 three-peats since Bill Russell, and they got 2 of them, and Shaq Kobe have the other one. The second flavor is all-time greats teaming up. Magic, usually regarded as the 4th best player of all time. Kareem, the 3rd best player of all time. AD cannot get to where Kareem was, period, the end. He's not as good as Kareem. And then Shaq and Kobe, 2 top 10 players of all time. AD is not going to be a top 10 player. Why? Because he did nothing without LeBron. He made 2 playoffs. He won 1
like
playoff
Michael
series.
Without Scottie.
Kareem won a championship.
Yeah, I get that. That's right.
Kareem won a championship.
Hold on.
Like Michael without Scottie.
Before we go, how old are we claiming LeBron is, Nick? Because I'm confused.
He's 35. He turns 36 at the start of the season.
In a few weeks.
His birthday's on December 30th. So we're like, he's 35.
So this is his
like,
age 36 season.
It's also like...
I just said, this is his age 36 season. So 4 more years would take him to age 36, 37, 38, 39. That's what I said.
Okay,
Not
I
41.
thought you were
taking
taking a year off of him. I thought it was like a Danny Almonte thing. I thought you were trying to go. Here's the thing about this duos here. This is why I kind of rebelled against this. This duo doesn't feel, when I think of NBA duos, I think more Shaq and Kobe. I think more Stockton Malone. I don't feel like this duo, and tell me if I'm wrong, Broussard, gels as nicely as a Stockton Malone or as a Scottie Michael. I don't feel like the games that are as complementary. To the point where, like, I actually like LeBron with Dwayne Wade as, like, a more, like, fun duo. And I know maybe it's recency bias that we just are in love with AD and LeBron.
That's good.
But when I think of, like, classic duos coming up, I just don't, this doesn't even sort of, I don't put them in that bucket. I'm not sure why.
I agree.
Maybe it's because I just need, like, a classic, nice pick and roll. But you tell me, Broussard.
I completely disagree. I think LeBron and AD's games are very complementary. This is the best complementary star LeBron's had. He and Wade, I don't think were a great fit. They were a great fit defensively because they both were so fast and athletic defensively. But offensively, they both were ball dominant. Wade had to kind of step back and be maybe 80% of himself offensively and let LeBron take the reins. So I don't think they were an all-time great duo as far as fit. AD, on the other hand, is a big. Now that LeBron's playing the point, they are a great duo, and I think their games fit together perfectly. Now, you can bring up Stockton and Malone, but the fact is Stockton and Malone never even won a championship. So you can't put them ahead of LeBron and AD as far as best duo just in one moment of time.
But I just want people to understand when we're talking about duos, we have to agree on the parameters of the discussion. Because Broussard is correct about as far as all-time pantheon, you've got your third best player ever, Kareem, and your fourth best player ever, Magic. I don't think you will ever get something like that again in the history of the league, right? But what's also true is those two guys were only at their collective apexes together for a brief period of time. Magic and Kareem only made first-team All-NBA the same year 2 times. Now, that's the most of any of these duos. Michael and Scottie did it once. Shaq and Kobe did it once. Katie and Steph never did it, where they're on first-team All-NBA the same season. LeBron and AD have played 1 year together. They've already done it once. If they do it again next year, that ties the record. So if we're talking about, do you have arguably the 2 best players in the entire sport on your team?
Nick.
Then you start to get in that discussion.
Be careful. Okay, Nick, Nick, be careful, because this is going to start hurting your LeBron legacy talk. If you're saying you've got the 2 best guys on the same team, yes, it will. That will hurt LeBron's legacy talk. If you're saying that AD is so good, go ahead, Broussard, if you've got the 2 best guys, that obviously hurts LeBron's individualism.
No, that's a great point, Wilds, because obviously, look, we're going to be talking about Michael versus LeBron. What if LeBron wins 5 or 6, but was only Finals MVP in 4 of them? Was only best player on his team in 4 or 5 of them. I'm just saying that's the type of nitpicking you do when it comes to being the GOAT. I'm just saying. Good point, Wilds.
I love it.
Good.
Go ahead,
Jenna,
Brandon.
I think we got to go to break, but look, I want to shift the conversation a little bit.
No, we don't.
Nick, where did you pull that from? You truly are a sports nerd. Like, where do you get this information
I'm trying
from?
to write a book
How all
on
of a
this.
sudden, we didn't prepare for this conversation. You're talking about Kareem and Magic. They had 2. This duo had. Where do you get this stuff from?
He's got Dusty.
Okay, I literally actually, as it happened, researched that this weekend because I'm trying. Nobody gave that to me. I swear to God, nobody gave that to me. No, I actually, because of this thing I'm working on, the 50 best players last 50 years. Hold on 1 second. I do want the audience to understand, though, what Broussard and Wilds just tried to lay the fertilizer for. They're trying to, plant a tree that is not going to bloom for a few years, but is a tree they are going to cling to as if their life depended on it when LeBron gets to rings 5, 6, maybe 7, which is after for their entire adult lives screaming 6 rings like it was a tick. The only thing that matters. We are now laying the groundwork for, well, how much do your
Nick,
6 rings really count?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.